Hey guys, bear with. A few things to sort out. I know you might think, well, why don't you sort all this stuff out before you go live? Well, that would be the logical and sensible thing to do. But invariably, the only time I think about that is when I've pressed the button to go live. So, as I say, bear with. I'll plug the charger in. Oh dear. Do my trousers up, make sure they don't fall down. Not a good look. Right. Let's turn you around. Don't be looking at me, do you? I'm naked as usual. There we go. Hello. Blood on the ground. That means one of my little monsters has killed something. It was a snake the other day. It's quite interesting. Better be careful as I walk across the grass. So, welcome to, oh my God, sunny Russia. Summer. Oh, it's heaven, absolutely heaven. Using the pool now, that's it. We're officially summer residents. So, about 24 degrees in the pool now. Still not at the really nice and comfortable 27, 28 degrees. But plenty good enough. If you swim in the channel in the UK, then you can definitely put up with 24 degrees in the pool. So, first and foremost, if you want to contact me, if you want to ask any questions about being here in southern Russia, you can do that by email and also Telegram. So if you've got a Telegram, look up the Plastic Russian in Telegram. If you don't use Telegram for whatever reason, you can just send me an email, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have. So we are just off the coast of the Black Sea, just outside a town called Anapa, A-N-A-P-A in Google Maps, and you'll see where we are. About 50-60 miles from Crimea. Just a bit of geography for anybody that doesn't know where we are. So, what's going on in the world? It's a very good question, isn't it? What is going on? We've got President Trump. I've got to say, I think he's doing a very, very good impression of President Macron of France. Macron is clearly renowned for going from one idea to another, and most people flip-flop Macron. Well, I've got to say, I think Trump's doing the same thing. Going from one harebrained scheme to another. Now, do you think that's because he's having an awakening, an epiphany? Do you think he's suddenly getting information that he didn't have? Or do you think it's, a lack of leadership, a lack of guts? What is it with Trump? What do you think it is? I've got my own opinion. But some of the ideas, from what I can tell, the latest idea is to get Russia and Ukraine together in the Vatican. Now, nothing's been said about that, but from my perspective, and I might be wrong, but from my perspective, as the head of the Catholic Church, but it was also quite, I won't say pro-Ukraine, but only a few weeks ago they were very, very welcoming to the Ukrainian, what should we call him? He's not the president, is he? So the Ukrainian leader, let's go with that. They were very accommodating to him. So are they unbiased? Is that going to be considered as neutral territory? I ain't so sure. So whilst Trump might have that idea, I'm not necessarily sure that Russia will agree to it. I think if you're going to meet somewhere, you'd want to feel neutral. But then arguably you could say that about Erdogan and Turkey at the moment. You know, he hosted Zelensky for 3 hours the other day. So, don't know, it's difficult. Does it feel like Trump is more inclined to run away at the moment? Is that what it feels like? Is he finally either waking up or finally accepting the reality and just now going, okay, this is it. There is no coming back from this. We need out. Now, I've said it before. I believe that America has started sowing the seeds for getting out of Ukraine 14, 16 months ago. The seeds started to be sown there in various ways, which is the standard playbook. You know, the US doesn't just sort of wake up on a Thursday morning and go, that's it, we're out. You know, it's months and months and months of shaping public opinion to then, you know, start to turn the tables. And that really started 14, 16 months ago when they started acknowledging, you know, Ukrainian corruption in the fact that arms that had been delivered, they weren't accounted for, and all sorts of other things. It's just, as soon as you hear one bad narrative, it then starts. You get another one a week or so later, and so on, and then it's, you know, it's a snowball effect, and now it's on a daily basis, pretty much. Yeah, the other thing is, it feels like he's trying to just exit. You know, oh, we don't want to mediate anymore. You can't mediate when you're party to it. But it feels like he's trying to just get out now and drop it on the Europeans. The Europeans say they want the baby, and I think Trump is quite happy to throw the baby towards them and let them catch it. So that's what I think it is. That's dead, isn't it? That looks, yeah, that's a stick. It's no longer a tree. Bye, Rios. Much like that thing, that's a stick as well. It's supposed to be a fig. And the wife says, oh, I think it might live. What do you think? I think it's dead as a doornail myself, but you never know here. I'll have to put that back in the ground now, as it's actually got roots on it. Little Egyptian and the hippie chick. Yeah, so where are we going? What's going on? Gonna have to wait and see how it pans out, I think, obviously. But to me, it feels like an off-ramp is being selected, and far more positively now. And Prime Minister Starmer. Dear, oh dear. I mean, I'm sure everybody has been following events, you know, and as with anything that's printed in the media, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt to a degree. How true is it? How much it's being manipulated and twisted? But all of that aside, regardless of whether you believe the stories, you semi-believe the stories, you think it's all made up, it's serious allegations, and a police investigation about a current serving Prime Minister. And I am starting to wonder whether that is making his position unattainable. Oh, result, I've found an apricot. There's one that the stupid cat hasn't got. Where is it? Make sure it's not up a tree already. So if you're new to the channel, you won't understand, but our stupid cat, we've got a lovely apricot tree here, which was covered in apricots. And our stupid hippie chick cat decided that they looked like boxing balls. So she was going up the tree and knocking them all on the floor. And in literally a day, well, she had a whale of a time. Took them all out. Now, at the moment, the cherry looks like it's got half as many fruits on it as I would be expecting at this time of year. So she's probably had a go at that and all. There we go. Yeah, so Starmer, I've got to say, politically, he looks to me on very shaky ground. And certainly some of his policies, the way he's pursuing things, the way he's going about it, you know, with a sledgehammer approach, it ain't popular, is it? And this latest stunt, signing a deal with the EU, don't know, do you agree with that? Do you think that's a good idea? I think, regardless of whether you think it's a good idea or not, whether you think it's the right thing for Britain or not, shouldn't there have been a consultation with the British people on a deal of that magnitude, considering the referendum of, what, 2016 was it, that opted to leave the European Union? So to now sign a deal with the European Union that effectively puts Britain back in the European Union with all of the, what I would say, disadvantages, and from what I can see, I can't see any advantages. So I don't know, that just to me seems very cavalier, very much I'm going to do this kind of attitude. And I don't think that's going to win him any favours. So, yeah, politically it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? It's not here, it's lovely. I ain't got any political crisis here. Anyhow, I've looked at the fruit. Looks like some of it's still alive. Stupid cat. Let's say hello. Oh, gold. Right. Tatiana, good morning. Marinus, a Zelensky regime is fuming. Yeah, I think all of them are, really. Europeans certainly are. You know, I think, you know, from what the newspapers, let's call it mainstream media, what they're reporting, Trump's phone calls all about. It always puzzles me how they know. They obviously read a printout and then make the rest up, I guess. But from what they're saying, Trump's phone call to the European leaders, which very significantly didn't include Keir Starmer, sounds like a goodbye. It sounds like a Dear John letter. Yeah, Russia's winning, Russia will win, and I'm out. That's kind of how the phone call went, and according to the mainstream media, that's been greeted with complete shock by the European leaders. Well, if that's true, if that is coming as a complete shock to European leaders, then they're either living under a rock, or the information that is supplied to them is so skewed that they genuinely believe what they're being told, and that information is so skewed and wrong that you've got to consider the intelligence system has collapsed. Because how that statement, you know, potentially coming from Trump saying that European leaders are shocked at the news that Russia is winning and Russia will win, if that's a shock to anybody in Europe, there's something wrong. Like I say, they're either living under a rock or their information is dire. Let me just get off of Wi-Fi because it will... Right, sorry about that brief interruption. Hopefully you can still hear me loud and clear. Let me sit down while I catch up with the comments. Frank Alpha. Vlad Krasiva, thank you. Kusman, morning. How you doing? Nikki New, g'day. Nice deck. Okay, I'm not sure. In the UK, a deck is like a wooden platform, so you'll have to let me know. Crispin, you'll need a glass fence about 2 metres high around each fridge. The trouble is, it's a bit like shutting the gate after the horse was bolted, isn't it? You know, I did a video, as you probably saw, about the apricot tree being decimated in a day by the stupid cat. You know, what should I do about it? It's a bit like saying, how do I make my gate secure? The horse has legged it and is in the neighbouring village. Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but I mean, she's a mischievous little monkey, but I didn't think she was going to go up the apricot tree and use it as a boxing platform. That hadn't even occurred to me. So, I mean, we know now, but the apricots are gone. They're on the ground. So there's little point in doing anything with the tree. And like I say, the cherry tree is not going to bear the fruit that it did last year. And the peach tree, I'll be surprised if we get any fruit this year, because it's had a real hard cut. Yeah, because you've got to think about the long term on these trees. So, yeah. Nikki, what a beautiful garden. Thank you. It's sort of in progress. Yeah, the house is for sale, so we've sort of, I say stopped work, but we're just sort of maintaining its current state, because whilst we have plans, if we were to stay here, which would involve building an enclosure over the swimming pool so we could use it all year round, summer house, veg patch, various things, paths, barbecue, outdoor kitchen area, you know, pizza oven, all this kind of stuff. That might not be what a potential new owner wants. So there's no point in proceeding with any of that. So it's kind of limbo land. So all we can do really is cut the grass, keep the trees sprayed and trimmed, and, you know, maintain it. It's like my regular viewers might notice this thing here. So that is a power cable that I sort of had the foresight to install when the pool was dug out before the concrete went down. So that power cable runs all the way under the concrete and up into the pool room to the fuse box. Purely because you can put a couple of sockets on it, or you can dig a little hole, put an extension and run it out to a summer house or whatever. But it gives you power out here. But again, that's limbo land, you know, that's just sat there. Haven't done anything with it because we don't know what we're doing. So we're kind of limbo land. But yeah, thank you for the comment. The grass needs cutting again. It's been 8 days since I cut it, and it's grown 8 inches. It's just, look. It's a special kind of grass. It's like 6 different varieties of stuff. So it's got flowers in it, basically. And if you let it grow, you just get a sea of flowers, which looks really cool. But it's a bugger to cut then. I did actually think about just letting it grow and having like a pathway around it, which I did for a while. But yeah, anyhow, like I say, our ideas may not necessarily be new owner ideas, so just maintaining at the moment. But everything's sprung into life, everything's going green. Sean, hi Chris, great day. It's a wonderful day, mate. Absolutely glorious. Like I say, I'm in shorts and I'm hot. Kusman, next year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, sometimes you've got to write this current year off to ensure the health of the trees for next year. But last year, I mean, we can't complain. Last year, I think we have just eaten the last of the cherries off of that tree from last year. I think the wife got them out of the freezer and made a cherry cake last week, and I think that was the last of them. So that give you an idea how many we had. The freezer was full of cherries. And the same, well, not the same with the peaches because I ate them, but I ate an awful lot of peaches last year. Surprised I don't look, well, surprised I don't look like a peach. Yeah, that's not true. Yeah. Been told I'm out of shape, but I insist round is a shape. There we go. Alexander Ross, good morning from me. Oh dear, where you are, though, sir. Good day, Chris. Hope you're going well. Looks like another glorious day in paradise. Yeah, it's a cliche, isn't it? Another day in paradise, but yeah, it is. It's lovely, absolutely lovely. Apart from the sound of a distant drill, but you know, we are on a very new development. Say new, 3 years, I suppose. So there's still things being done, still things being improved. There's a house for sale over there. That particular single story is for sale. That one next door is for sale. So yeah, obviously there's still bits and pieces getting done. Sean, fruit trees are always attractive to animals. You must put netting to keep them off. Sean, where were you 2 weeks ago? Throw me a bone, man. That would have been invaluable information 2 weeks ago. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, it's obvious to an idiot. Well, I'm a better class of idiot. So, I'm not a gardener. I've never had cherry trees, or plum trees, or peach trees. And all my experience really has been on our plum tree, which I've not been able to kill. It won't die. I can't say I've tried to kill it, but I certainly haven't tried to keep it alive. And nor have the tractors that have run it over and thrown it out on the concrete for 3 weeks. But that thing keeps living, so I kind of just expect everything to live and grow. Pretty much does, with the exception of that fig that's going in the bin. Callum, where are you? So I'm in my back garden in a little village called Gostogoyevskaya, which is just outside the seaside resort town of Anapa, A-N-A-P-A, in southern Russia, on the coast of the Black Sea, 50, 60 miles from Crimea, where I ended up the other day, actually. I do want to go to Crimea and film for you guys, but it's probably not a good idea. I don't know, I've got to wrestle with my conscience with that one. Whilst it's absolutely beautiful and I'd love to, you know, film some stuff and show you, I also am mindful that I don't want to film anything that can be used in any kind of intelligence operation or anything at all. You know, I just don't want to compromise anybody's lives or position. So I'm very mindful of that. But it is beautiful there. Maybe I'll film there and then just wait for everything to be over and then show you. Don't know. Or maybe I'll just go when it's all over. The shouty bloke. Hey Chris, did you get your residency? And curious as to why you're selling your house. Yes, I did. I have got temporary residency. When was it? What month? What day? What month are we in? May? When did we get it? Last month, April. Yeah, got it last month. It actually turned around quite quickly. Less than 2 months it took. But because we thought it was going to be in May, we didn't bother to ring up and chase it. And then when the wife did ring up to make an appointment, they said, oh, it's here. So it was actually ready in March. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I did get that. And as for why we're selling the house, without putting too fine a point on it, I'm now resigned to the fact that the wife is right. We're not getting any younger. Well, I ain't. Wife still looks in good order. And yeah, my knees aren't the greatest. I'm sure at some point they'll need replacing. I've had surgery on my knees before, didn't really help that much, and they've taken a bit of a pounding throughout my life. I've not looked after them, as invariably we don't look after our body. We just think everything lasts forever. It's only when you're older that you go, damn, wish I hadn't done that. So my knees have taken a bit of a battering. So just walking up and down stairs first thing in the morning and night. During the day it's all right, everything's loosened up and it's not so bad. It just sounds like I'm walking on biscuits. But first thing in the morning, last thing at night, they're sore. And that's now. Also, our daughter is going to be going to college soon, which again, when we built this house, or started to build this house 3 years ago, we weren't even thinking about that. You know, she was 13. So we weren't thinking about what she's going to do at 17. We're more worried about what she was doing on that day. So, yeah, we built the house with the intention of 3 of us living here. But she's going to be going to college or uni or both. So it'll just be me and the wife on 900 square metres of land. In a big house. You know, don't get me wrong, it's a lovely house. Spent enough money on it to make it nice, but it's just too big for us now, you know, and it seems a bit of a waste really. It wants a family in here. So yeah, we're gonna go to a single story house, smaller house, bit smaller land probably, and then start all over again. Do it all again. Build a swimming pool. Build like a spa kind of thing. You know, enclosure, hot tub, all of those kind of bits and pieces. Yeah. And then, I mean, the only reason we're doing it is it'll give me some content to put up on YouTube. No, I'm joking. But no, that's the reason. Thanks for asking, appreciate that. But yeah, just want to go to a smaller house on single level, so I haven't got to do these sort of things. Goddamn steps. Oh. I don't know what you guys can see, because it depends on what device you're watching. So I don't know what you can see. But with a naked eye, as I said before, this reminds me of southeast of England, where you have what we call the South Downs, which is the hills, and we've got all of that in the background. So it feels very sort of homely in that regard. If I consider southeast of England home, I suppose I have for 50 years. So yeah. But Russia has sprung into life. Everybody's come out of hibernation. The sun comes out, everything turns green, everything starts growing. Even the dead stuff, like that walnut tree, that's been dead, and it's now alive again. Yeah, and everybody comes out, works in the garden, building projects. Yeah, it all comes alive. Right, where are we? Let's not get too far behind. Dylan Ventola, you're a genius, aren't you? Wow. They walk among us. Despite 3 years of evidence and countless government articles released all across the world, you still get people that go, yeah, 3 years of illegal occupation of Crimea. Oh, really? Really? 3 years, yeah? Well, Crimea was annexed, if you want to call it that, in 2014. So it's not 3 years, so your maths ain't too clever for a start. And second, there were 3 referendums about Crimea in total. The first one absolutely wanted to rejoin the motherland. The second one, yeah, it was a close vote apparently. Yeah, right. That wasn't manipulated at all, was it? Nah, that was all honest. And then the third one, funnily enough, was just like the first one. Massive, huge, 90-odd% vote on the referendum to rejoin Russia. So that was 2014. So I don't know what you're talking about 3 years ago. So Russia's been there since 2014. And equally, you know, we could go into the whys and the wheres. Were the people in Russia, in Crimea, treated how they were supposed to be treated? No. Water was turned off for one thing. Crimea was supposed to, there was a set of rules when it was handed over, that the Russians were respected and their language and culture, that they weren't persecuted in any way, shape or form, and that the infrastructure was improved on Crimea, none of which happened. So, snooze you lose. Anyhow, do some research, mate. You make yourself look silly. Alexander. Maybe there's a local... oh, God. Alexander. You mean Samogoychik? There who can turn some of your cherry crop into some high-quality kush. What are you saying? You suggesting I give away my cherries? Are you mental? Chris does not share food. No. Yeah, we sort of give some cherries away to some friends. But we like them. Well, I like them. The best cherries I've ever eaten. So I'm not keen on giving them away, but thanks. I'm struggling to read the comments because of the sunshine. Jazz Creek, good day, mate. I'm getting a lot of good day, mates. Is that because you lot think I'm Australian? Or is it because you lot are Australian? Have I got some upside downers in the group? Fantastic. I love you upside downers. My grippy feet cousins. It's just banter. All Aussies rip the hell out of Brits and all Brits rip the hell out of Aussies. It's just what we do. It's a love affair. Shouty bloke, yeah, my knees are shot too. Bungalow and swimming pool, can't go wrong. Yeah, exactly. Swimming pool's brilliant if you've got old bones, if you're a bit smashed up through stupidity in your life. Then yeah, swimming pool is fantastic. It's very good to get all your muscles working and keep all your bones in check. So yes, that is now something that I will be in every day, even in the rain. Not in Lorraine, don't know who Lorraine is, but in the precipitation that comes from the sky. Deborah Brock, hi. Hi Deborah, where are you in from? Olga, hi. How you doing? Jazzcarat, what country is this? This is Russia. No snow, look at that. What? Russia? No snow, no bears, no gangsters, no vodka, no horse and cart. Drank all the vodka. Horse and cart, horse got drunk, fell over. Gangsters have all turned into proper businessmen. The snow's melted. And I'm still waiting for the bear. Alexander, what a magnificent view from the upstairs balcony. Thank you. Yeah, we when we designed this house, we designed it with the intention of having somewhere to be all day. So the sun comes up there in the morning, beautiful sunrise we see, and especially from the balcony, it's just over the hills we see, look across the roof of all the houses. So you watch the sun come up and then it comes up straight over us and goes down, and we get lovely sunsets as well. Same thing, sit on the balcony. So we've designed it so we've got a wrap-round balcony so we can sit anywhere at any time of day and be either in the sun or out of the sun. So case in point, I'm getting a bit cookie. So we move here and it goes down 5 degrees. It's quite nice. Plus I can read all of the comments. But yeah. Naveen, is this Russia, bruh? Yeah, it is. Jaskarat, I'm Australian, mate. Nice. We love an Aussie. You guys are funny, you make me laugh. Kusman, if you don't share your food, perhaps you could start your own moonshine production. Or I could just eat them. So starting a moonshine production involves time, effort and money. Eating them just involves a bit of effort. I'm going with eating them. Sean, you asked about Trump. I think he does favours for friends, so Russia might get a good deal as he likes Putin. Yeah, don't really think it goes along those lines. I think Trump's under an awful lot of pressure from the neocon establishment. And certainly that's the narrative that they throw out. Oh, he's best friends with Putin, you know, so because they, you know, yeah, Putin done it, apparently. Yeah, I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's favours. At the end of the day, Trump's a businessman, and there are no friends in business. Ferenc Zabo, 90% of the world knows the story, and yet some Westerners still pushing the CNN narrative. Yes, mate. Yeah, well, there is a narrative that has to be pushed. You can make your own mind up about it. There are various theories. Everybody's got a theory about it. But it's ultimately always down to money. That's all it's ever down to. Whether it's for an individual line in their pockets or, you know, to manipulate sovereign financial markets or global ones. But it's always about money. Because Sean Rush will get a good deal, Trump not so much. Well, that's the thing. If you go into an environment to have a deal, ideally you want to have the upper hand, don't you? You want to be the one that can sort of run the meeting and control and call the shots. And that's the position that Trump is always used to being in until now. And I think that's the hardest thing for him. He's in a position that he's not used to being in. He's in a meeting where whatever he says, the other party has got not only the answer to that, but 10 questions that follow on from it. And they've got all of the cards. And I think that realisation is now coming. He roasted Zelensky because Vance asked him, South African president because Musk asked him to. Yeah. Talking about Russian-US deals. Yes, an upside downer here. I mean, before that guy with a steel could brew you some kirch out of cherries, I bet there's a Sammer got yeah, with a backyard still in his potting shed. Yeah, well, you can buy them. Just in our village, you can buy them. You can buy these stills to ferment your homebrew stuff. Mainly because we're in a wine region, so there's grapes everywhere. Everybody grows grapes here because you haven't even got to try. They just grow out the ground. You know, they're like weeds. So wine making, I think, you know, most people make their own wine. Yeah. Very nice, mate. I thought it was UK. Whew, yeah. No, definitely not. Definitely not UK. I couldn't afford to live like this in the UK, if I'm honest. So definitely not UK. But there we are. That's where we are at the moment, isn't it? We're all sorts of stories almost every hour. It's difficult to keep up with all the news, really, and I try to. It's taking up about 4 hours a day at the moment, trying to keep me keep abreast of what's going on, the latest developments and finance, etc., etc. If you're into crypto, I predict a period of green now for 2 to 3 months. By green, I mean green candles, not necessarily on an hourly chart, but if you put your chart on a 1 week chart and look at your MACD, I predict that to be a green wave now for 8 to 12 weeks. That's what it looks like. So lots happening in crypto, lots of on the verge ofs. And crypto is going to be running a financial system. Well, it already is, really. Just most people don't know about it. Lovely rocks, look. There's another cat. Oh, lizard. Oh yeah, little bugger. He was quick. You missed him, didn't you, Rosie? She's a lizard hunter. Now, I think the wife's going off down the beach for a stroll. The suggestion was made to me, and I sort of... Well, I looked at the kitchen where the food is, and I looked at the swimming pool, and looked at the weather, and the kitchen and the swimming pool won, so I'm staying. So I think she's off for a walk, which is a good thing, it's admirable. And I've managed to avoid it. Rosie, stop your grizzling. Meow. Oh, what's the matter? So this one likes to do laps. So what she does is she sits here, looks into the house through the window. One of us comes along, opens the front door. She walks from the front door, through the house, out to the back door, and then goes round that way or this way, back to here, and then meows at the window again. I'm not joking. And she does that half a dozen times until that little game gets boring. They say people don't have cats, cats have people. It's very true. Kusman, if you eat the cherries, spit the stones into the back garden, 1 year the feline will be overwhelmed with fruit tree. Yeah. Yeah. We did go and look at a house yesterday for sale. Really nice. Really nice. Massive back garden. And lots of trees, lots of fruit trees and that. And it is true, just everything grows out here. It's just mad. I mean, 6 months ago, you would have believed, like I did, that that thing was dead. No question, it was dead. Does it look dead? Stupid thing. Have one hiding in the shade. Catching the snakes, probably. We the people always think in good, bad terms. At this point, I really think that a few houses are ruling the world. The WEF is just the front end. Yeah. The World Economic Forum is the pretty shop. It is not the storeroom or the basement. It's the gooey bit that the people see, where they hold these big, elaborate meetings and big, elaborate conferences that cost big, elaborate money to keep the washing machine going. Yeah, and do you know what? That's corporate life. You know, I learnt that. It's really, once you get into corporate world, you see a different side. And what you think is, borderline not possible, actually then bears out to be reality, and you're like, it's quite shocking. And for example, in the corporate world that I was in, it came as a shock to me when you work up through the system and you work from working your nuts off, getting filthy dirty, cuts, bruises, etc., doing overtime and whatever you can to earn money, to working up in the world. And then you get to a level where there's a choice. You're either good enough to get pulled above the line, or you're kept just under the line to keep the minions working. And I got to the point where I was good enough to get pulled up above the line. And once you get pulled up above the line, you're let into a whole different world that you don't even realise exists. And that world is, as I call it, Skyva Vitus. And that is, all the people above the line do very, very little, apart from plan their next jolly. They plan their next outing on company money. And that's pretty much what they do. And it's amazing. You just think the higher up the ladder you go, the more hard-working these people are. And the reality is the less they do. The less they do for the company, the less they do for the staff. And the more they focus on booking events, which, can get written off under expenses. And I was very much party of that. We need a business meeting, an end of year business meeting, to discuss next year's financial projections and to review targets hit and missed this year, where we went wrong, how we can improve going forward. That's the corporate term. Now the layman's term is, yay, we're going to London, we're going to get absolutely wankered, we're going to eat in all the best places, we're going to pub crawl until we can't pub crawl anymore, and it's all going to be paid for by the company. That was a regular thing. Or another one, quarterly review time, chaps. We'll go to Brighton so we can have some peace and quiet. So you go to Brighton, and we'll go for breakfast, and we'll sit in a posh hotel having breakfast, and we'll discuss. And what you do is you take your notes and everything about projections and where you think your department's going to be, or your particular business is going to be. What your challenges are, what your staffing requirements are, and all of that. And you go there, you talk for about 10 minutes, and then it's like, breakfast here, so we eat breakfast. And it's like, right, well, meeting adjourned, off we go, chaps. And you're on the piss again. That's the corporate world. That's the reality. And like I say, once you get dragged up above that line, that's what you're involved in. And then above that line, it just gets more bigger. The sky for Vitus gets grander. And again, another example, I went to Canada for a week, all expenses paid. And that was an expensive trip. We were helicoptered to the top of a glacier for lunch. I'm not joking. I think that was the first day. We went to a helicopter port, very close to where we were staying in the hotel. Magnificent hotel in Whistler. And got flown up onto the top of a virgin glacier where a team had been set up with gazebos and hot food and champagne. And we stood on top of the glacier looking across the top of all the mountains, eating hot dogs and burgers and drinking champagne. That was day one. Yeah. Going to the Whistler Olympic Park and doing all the Olympic activities like the rifle shooting and the skiing and cross-country skiing and the bobsledding, whatever you call it. Yeah, so you can imagine that wasn't a cheap trip. We estimated about 35 grand each. That's the corporate world. And the people at the top were in that because, we needed chaperoning, so they all came along as well. So it's just one big scam, basically. Well, people, and I'll be honest, I was uncomfortable about it. I didn't actually want to go. I actually asked if I could get a cash alternative that I could split between my staff. That's true. And I was told, don't be stupid. It's not always about you. You have to think about other people. And you've earned it, etc. And I just was uncomfortable with it. I felt it was unfair for me to be having a trip of a lifetime in Canada because our particular area had excelled. But that just fell on deaf ears. They weren't interested because, it kind of exposes the corruption a little bit, doesn't it? So if they're doing that at the corporate level, what do you think they're doing in the world, in country level? So going back to my wildly off topic about WEF, that's just one big excuse. What are you doing, Rosie? That's just one big excuse to justify the checkbook. It's a big checkbook hub where everybody can go at various levels and say, we're having to go to this summit for 5 days. Oh, that includes staying in a 5-star hotel and eating like a king, does it? Okay, seems fair. Private jets, etc, etc. Oh yeah, of course. We all know it goes on. We're all aware of it, really. But some of us just sort of, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it. And some people, I think, are always, well, yeah, the media says that, but there's probably a serious agenda underneath it all. Nah, fuck. The serious agenda is made there to give the excuse. The serious agenda could be dealt with over the phone most of the time, or via Skype, couldn't it? Doesn't need meetings in person. What more do they achieve in person that they couldn't achieve over the internet? Personal connections, come on. This day and age, it's all one big scam. It's one giant money laundering process so that everybody gets a nice holiday and a nice little meeting. And that's, you know, how many times a year? Once a month. Somebody's jetting off somewhere, aren't they? It's just, like I say, once you've been in the corporate world, it's very clear. Leddy, nice to see you. What's up, Chris? Looks wonderful. Great weather here in Moscow region too. Oh, good. Oh, good. I know it's been a weird year for weather, hasn't it? So far, by Russian standards, anyway. Moscow was a bit weird. It was warm when it should have been cold. And for us, it's been a bit weird. Summer is here now, but it's been, I think, late. I mean, May is always a bit funny, but it just doesn't feel... I mean, last year, I think I was in the pool in March. Whereas, yeah, no chance this year. So it just seems a bit weird. It seems like it's flipped 180, but it's weather, isn't it? Is it ever the same every year? No, who's the egg? Nathan, what's the temperature over there? I think today's about 25 degrees, mate. It feels warmer than that in the sun, but it's about 25 degrees. Just going to have a look at the pool, see what that's at, because that's running now, so I'll get an accurate temperature of the pool. I reckon, because you lose about 1 degree overnight in temperature, if it's a cold night, and last night was a cold night. It was only about 11 or 12 degrees last night. So I reckon I lost about a degree overnight. 23 degree or 22.9 degrees. There we go, look, 22.9, top one. So saltwater pool we have, might as well tell you while we're in here. So we don't add chlorine. We have what's called a chlorine generator, and that is in that tube in there. So effectively it's water with salt added to it, special type of salt, and then that thing in there turns the salt into natural chlorine. Now some of you might think, why? What's the point? You just have a chlorine pool. Well, there's a massive difference. A huge difference. One, you don't smell of chlorine because it's in much smaller quantities, and I guess because it's naturally produced, you don't smell of chlorine when you get out of the pool. It doesn't smell of chlorine at all. It's naturally gassing off. The pool's naturally gassing off. But two, it feels like you're bathing in ass's milk. Not that I've ever done that, but I'd use your brain. Imagine what that feels like. Cleopatra said it was wonderful. But the water is really, really soft. So you're not getting out feeling like your skin's been dried out with a load of chemicals. It feels really, really lovely, real natural. You know, you get out and your skin feels soft and smooth. It's just much, much better for you. Now, some of you might think, yeah, but salt pool, it doesn't, it's not like the sea. It doesn't taste of salt like that. The saline level is much, much, much lower. So it's just a much nicer way of having a pool. Chlorine is the cheaper option to initially set up, but then probably dearer to maintain because you're always buying chlorine, I guess, and topping it up with various chemicals. Whereas this is a much dearer option to start with. You've got a computer, for example. But when it comes to maintenance and ongoing cost, I won't say it's zero, but it ain't far off. I added a bit of salt to the pool summer last year. I haven't added any since. I hoover it. I've got a robot hoover that gets chucked in it whenever I can be bothered. I might do that now, actually. Why not? Let's chuck the robot in. It's not easy doing this one-handed. I might as well pull the cover off because I'm going swimming. Right. Bear with me, guys. Just want to sort this out. It'll only take a second. I'll put you over here. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That all went a bit funny. Right, bear with me. The camera adds £10. Right, robot, one sec. Here's the robot, made by Best Way. It's brilliant. And that's it. That is it. Chuck it in. And it trundles around for a couple of hours. So, yeah, as regards maintenance, you know, it's hoover the pool out. I do this, like I say, as often as I think about it. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes it's once a week. And then, oh, hello, what's going on here? Bloody gimbal didn't like that. Sorry. You went for a little journey then. Sorry, guys. Yeah, and probably once a month I'll use the skimmer and hoover it out properly. With a big tube, which you're probably used to seeing people do it with their pools. Big blue tube and a brush on the end. But maintenance-wise, that's pretty much it, because everything else is automatic. I'll tell a lie, once a week I add some antibacterial agent. So just a measured amount of blue liquid that you just tip in the pool in front of the jets. Do that once a week. And that's it. The dosing is all handled by the computer. And you can set on the computer the run time of the pump. Yeah, and then you just keep an eye on the filter, the sand filter. Just see if the pressure goes up. If the pressure goes up, the filter's getting a bit blocked, and you do what's called a backwash. But if you're hoovering the pool regularly and maintaining it and cleaning out the skimmer baskets, see if there's any frogs. No froggies. So if you're keeping on top of it and just doing a little bit of 5 minutes every day or a couple of days, just having a little check around, it pretty much looks after itself. So, yeah, the net will come out in a little while. I'll just walk around it for a couple of minutes with the net just to get the bugs off. That's it. Lovely. Definitely, without doubt, the one thing that I cannot be without now. And I know it seems very decadent. Yeah, it is. But that's my little luxury. That's the one thing I said to the wife before we decided to build a house. That I wanted a swimming pool. So, yeah, brilliant thing. Absolutely love it. One thing I can't be without. And as is always the way, through the winter, people don't see the point. Come summer, when you're in the thing every day, yeah. In the UK, does it make sense? Not really. Weather's not good enough. Unless you have it fully enclosed, and then, yeah, don't know. What we want to do is build an enclosure over a pool with the sides that are all removable. So it's an indoor-outdoor pool. Best one I ever saw was at a bloke's house in London. Wow. I mean, this guy, don't know what he did for a living. I would say robbed banks, but he probably just owned them. But to say he was rich is an understatement. I went to buy a car off him. Nice guy. But his swimming pool was in a building. So it was all indoors. But at a push of a button, the sides of the building rolled back. So it split in the middle. Half went that way, right the way round. And this half went right the way back. And the roof tilted up and then went and slid down the back of the building. So it sort of lifted up like that and then slid down the back of the building. So the pool literally went from indoor to completely outdoor. No roof, no sides, nothing. At the push of a button, all on hydraulics. Absolutely amazing. I'd like to do that. Yeah, I don't own enough banks for that. But yeah, if you've never had a pool, you will see it as a waste of time, especially if you're in the UK. Because like I say, we don't have the weather for it. But out here, you know, it's why if you go to Spain, most places have got pools, haven't they? It's just because it's not really a luxury. It's not a necessity, but it just makes life really nice. So we had to come sit in the sunshine, get the umbrellas out, have a nice fruit drink, or 2 gallons of wine with some vodka to wash it down with, and then try and drown yourself in the pool, which I shall be doing. Right, where am I? God, I can't see this. I did the temperature, didn't I? About 25 degrees. Alexander, that's one very happy, contented cat. Enjoying the sunny weather. Yeah, Rosie, she is an absolute sun freak. Which is weird, because she's the English cat. She's the one that we brought from England. Oh, Derek's stuck on the sump because stupid Chris didn't close the sump. Now he's off again. Right, back in the pool room to shut the sump. So we've got skimmers, 2 of them at surface level, and you've also got a sump as well that draws in from the bottom. And it's very powerful, so if I don't close it, when the hoover runs over it, it gets stuck in it, just gets sucked into one position. So I just have to close the sump. There we go. Right. Very simple system. A couple of probes measuring pH and various other bits. Parasthetic pump. And then, like I say, the algicide, the pipe work, you can open the valves and isolate bits and bobs if you need to. And then the computer that runs it all. Takes all of the meter readings, works out the dosing. Yeah. Nice and simple. Very simple system, this one. Some of them are really elaborate. Oh, what did I say that would cause me to get disconnected? Don't know. Got disconnected then, so I lost a few of you. Right. My favourite poser is Macron. Yeah, I mean, does anybody take Macron seriously? I mean, you should, because he's a dangerous guy. Not because he's clever, but because he's a sneaky so-and-so. You can't shake his hand and think you've got any kind of word from the man, because what he says to you today will be different tomorrow, and he'll, just deny even saying it. So how people can deal with a guy, I don't know. But he seems to be able to get his foot in all sorts of doors. But as is always the case with these people, you see them in the corporate world, you see these snakes that come along and they say the right thing to the right person at the right time, and everybody knows that they're a snake, but it just seems that the bosses don't see it, because they get presented with a different version, so they don't see the reality. They get a 5-minute synopsis of it and they think, oh, this guy's good. But invariably it always comes out over time, usually after they've done a load of damage in the company. I've seen that many times. It's happened to me. I've been sidelined in my career because of snakes that have came and taken my ideas and other people's ideas, purported them as their own, in the corporate ladder, and higher up the chain they decide, oh yeah, this guy's better for the position, and then the whole thing goes to shit. And then they go, oh, Chris, can we have a word? Yeah. A bit late then, isn't it? Alex, where are you in the world? Near the Black Sea. Yes. Yeah, about 15 kilometres off of the Black Sea. About 50, let's say 60 kilometres from Crimea. It's something like that. Something like 60 kilometres to Kerch, I think. Yuri, do you mean you're selling a house and coming back to the UK? No. Yuri, have a look at what's on the screen at the moment. Does this look like I want to come back to the UK? Yeah. No. We're selling this house, but we're going to stay local in the area because, look at the weather. I mean, you can't look at the people, but the people here are amazing. They really are. They really are. Nathan, is it right you get 300 days of sunshine a year? Yes, apparently so. I have been reliably informed that Anapa is the sunniest region or sunniest district in Russia. I'm sure there's going to be some pushback on that, but that's what I've been told by a reliable source, that it is the sunniest district in Russia. There are 2 English cats enjoying the weather. Are there? We've only got one. So Rosie is the one that we dragged from England, and she's the sun worshipper, and all the locals are the ones that don't want to be in the sun. So the other 4 cats don't want to be in the sun. How weird's that? Rich E, I also see chemtrail clouds in Russia. Do you? Where? Let me have a look. That's just a normal cloud formation. That's not chemtrail. Okay, none of that is chemtrail. That's just cloud formation. And I can tell you why it's not chemtrail. Because the airport doesn't operate in this area. And there are no planes that fly here. So it can't be chemtrail because there are no planes in the sky, apart from military ones. And they fly at lower levels and don't produce chemtrails. So this is just cloud formation of various descriptions. As far as I'm aware anyway. But like I say, there are no planes in the sky, so I don't know where the chemtrails have come from, mate. Kusman, Yuri, to move to a smaller house in the same area. There you go. Kusman, what I should do is just turn the camera on and let you narrate it. That would be a lot easier. Save me wandering about. And my point is proved. Ricky, chemtrails are okay as long as you keep your tinfoil hat on. Exactly. The other one is called Chris. I see what you did there. The other cat. Yeah, got you. Robot's amazing. Yeah, it's just a Hoover. I mean, they call it a robot because it sounds more impressive, doesn't it? But it's not. It's just a Hoover. There's nothing robotic about it. It's just an underwater Hoover. But, I mean, you can spend stupid money on these things. I've seen some of them costing £2,000. And they've got tracks and they'll climb up the side of the swimming pool walls. But if, like I say, if you maintain your pool, there isn't any need for that. So, like once a month maybe, I'll grab a little brush, and when I go in the pool, I'll just go around the edges when I'm actually in the pool with a brush, just to clean it. And then that goes into the skimmer, goes into the filter. But the Hoover itself, yeah, it's a really, really simple design. So the wheels aren't driven, it is jet propulsion. So the thing on the top is just a thing that spins around and changes the direction. And all you've got inside is like a little jet ski motor, basically. It's just a motor, and it sucks water in one side and spits it out the other side. And obviously the sucking part is the Hoover. So it sucks through a filter, so all of the debris gets sucked in the bottom and into the filter, and then it exhausts through the thing on the top. I hope you can see that. There it is. Yeah, so that thing on the top says best way. That spins round and changes the direction. And the only reason that spins round is because it's free floating. It's not motor driven at all. But when the actual thing hits an obstacle, it stops, and the water wash changes the direction. Gets that little handle to flick over, as you can see, hopefully. And then it spits out and goes the other way. So there's no power driven. So the jet system isn't, you know, directional. It's not driven by a motor. And the same with the wheels. The wheels are just on an axle, just rattle about. But you can lock the axle depending on what shape pool you've got. So that is set up. You can lock either axle, and that's set up for this shape pool. But you can use it on round pools, on square pools, you know, heart-shaped pools, whatever you want. You just change the axle lock configuration. As always, the simplest ideas are often the best, and that is really, really simple. And I can't fault it. It runs for 2.5 hours, and it rattles around. It cleans every single bit of the pool completely randomly. There's no brains to it. It doesn't track where it's been or anything like that. And a lot of these other very expensive ones, you know, they like your robot Hoover you have in your house where it tracks where it's been and it makes a map of the house and all of that. Some of these swimming pool vacuums do the same thing, and they map where they've been. But do you need that? Don't think so. This works fine. So instead of paying over £1,000 for a Hoover to do the swimming pool, paid 140 quid. No, it was less than that. It was 120 quid. Brand new. And my friend in the UK's got a swimming pool. Don't know why he bothers. He's got a smaller pool than mine. Ha, Jason. And yeah, I told him about that when I got it. Advised him to get it. He went and got it and absolutely loves it. Because that's the chore of having a swimming pool, is having to hoover the floor. But if you can get one of these things and just chuck it in, wait for it to run out of battery, take it out, rinse it off, put it on charge again, do the same. And I mean, sometimes I've used it when this pool has been, you know, we've left the cover off and we've had a storm and it's just full of debris. And it even sucks up dead frogs, so it's pretty powerful. Because we do have a frog season here, and bless them, the silly things think it's a good idea to go in the swimming pool, which it's not. So yeah, in frog season I'm trying to save froggy lives. I'm fishing them out of the pool when I can, and I'm making a little frog ramp up here so they can climb out. Anything to try and save the little blighters, because I like frogs. But a few of them end up dead, and they end up bobbing around on the bottom, and the Hoover even sucks them up. So yeah, it's a good bit of kit, but you know, cheap as cheap can be. Cheapo Chinese thing, but works really well. Need some tea. Wife's gone out. I might have to make my own. The shouty bloke. Chemtards see cirrus clouds and claim conspiracy. Yeah, I mean, there's a 1,000 videos on the internet showing planes flying through the air. You know, some of it is very careful editing. That's been proven. And some of it, yeah, you know, you look at it and go, wow, yeah, it's chucking out stuff out the back of the engine. But is there any accounting for what the air's doing at that? I mean, I'm not an expert on it. I have no idea about it. I just look at it and just go, oh, okay. There's evidence that, you know, it's supported that they do. I know they do cloud seeding in certain countries. I think Dubai is one of them, where they throw, I want to say silver or something in the aluminium or something. They stick something in the skies to make it rain. But it's not anything that I've got into or dived into because I'm too busy. I'm too busy diving into other stuff, so I haven't got the time. And I haven't got the inclination either. As you can see, I'm not too worried about chemtrails. Like I say, we haven't got any planes that fly over us. So, you know, weather's quite nice here. But, yeah, I get, you know, some people are sort of hung up on it. You know, if you live near an airport, busy airport, you live near Gatwick maybe, or Heathrow, you're probably quite obsessed with it. But, yeah. What's the average rent and rental costs? I couldn't tell you the average, Nathan. I'll tell you why. It's very easy for me to just say, oh, 300,000 rubles a month. And then 100 people will come in and say, well, it's not in my region. The minimum is 400,000. And in my region, nothing costs that much. You know, it's so variable because Russia's such a large country. The regions are so big. There's so many variations of property available. But let me try and give you an idea, because I know that's a crap answer and, you know, not very informative. But let me give you an idea. The house next door, which is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 85 square metres, I think, house, on 600 square metres of land. It's got gate and driveway and 2 cars on the drive, probably 3 if you wanted, actually, the size of it. Big back garden. That was renting out for, I think, 300,000 rubles a month. No, what am I on about? Prat, 300,000 rubles a month. I wish. I'd be renting this one out. 30,000 rubles a month. So in UK money, £260 a month for that property. But it is very, very region specific and property specific. You know, if you move into Anapa, into the town, then the rent goes up. You'll get half the property for twice the price. So it depends. But yeah, about £260 a month, Nathan. As long as English pounds make sense to you. I don't know where you're from, mate. Ferenc, amazing. It's a mechanical marvel. It's just a simple design. And as I say, the simple designs are the best, aren't they? It's not all elaborate. It's not got this fancy tracking. You know, it doesn't remember where it's been or anything. It just rattles around like a dumbass. And due to its design, it's completely random, which means it goes everywhere. It literally hoovers every single square bit of the pool. And after 2.5 hours, the bottom of the pool is spotless. So, yeah, great bit of kit. Elena, hi. Hi, nice. Yes, it is. Yeah, so here we are, people. Southern Russia. 25 degrees. Pool life. I'm going to be getting in that pool in any minute, I think. So I've managed to catch up with the chat, which I always like to do. I don't like to not answer people's questions. So I'll give it 5 more minutes. If you've got any questions, fire away. Feel free. If not, then I'll wind it up in a few minutes and I'll be going swimming. Ooh, I hear a flying thing. Let's see which direction it comes in. Can't be showing that on camera. I can, but I won't. Oh, that stupid cat. Look, it's eyeing up the cherry tree now. Get out of it, you dick. Look at it. Yes, you absolute mental case. She hears a plane or a helicopter or thunder or a gnat fart, and that's it. Runs for cover. Monsters, run away. And that's a helicopter. And it's coming right over the house, I think. Oh, yes. Yeah, sorry, you don't get to look at that. Not unless you spend 21 million. I'll tell you what, I'll show you that helicopter for 21 million rubles. And you get this house for free. It's not a bad deal, is it? Imagine a free house. You can have this house for free. You just need to pay for that view. Well, I think it's a good deal. Anyhow, that pool's getting more and more tempting by the minute. Right, let's see how cold it is. Yeah, no, that's not cold. Oh, that's not good. How's the internet reliability? Well, I'm on mobile internet here at the minute, purely because I was wandering about and I was at the back of the garden and I thought I might lose the Wi-Fi signal because I have Wi-Fi devices at the front of the house. And if I go into that back corner, I'm just on the edge of the Wi-Fi range. And funnily enough, the same on the top terrace at the front, just on the edge of the Wi-Fi, and it sort of can be a bit intermittent. So I've come off of the Wi-Fi, so I'm on mobile at the moment. You tell me, what do you think the internet connection's like? Oh, God, guys, this pool's lovely. I need to be swimming. I've got some holiday weight I need to shed. Shut up, I know holiday was a long time ago, but I still ain't shed it. Put it all back on. Well, not all of it, half of it. Guzman, good deal. Free house and a free prison sentence with it for filming a military chopper. Yeah. So, Russian constitution allows you to film anything in public. And unless you're in a sensitive area or a designated war zone. So, I'm not in either. So, yes, I can actually film that. I just choose not to. It's just my own thing. I don't want to film anything military because I don't, not only military, but anything that may be used, you know, for nefarious purposes by unpleasant people. So I don't want to, you know, I don't want to film it. It's just my personal thing. But the Russian constitution allows me to do so. Anything in a public place. And although my back garden isn't a public place, it's, you know, it's my private property, so I can say I just won't. If you think about it, they fly down the beach, you know, there's regular displays down over the town. People film them all the time. I'm just not one of them. Although I love stuff like that. I love looking at, you know, I love going to air displays. Yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to that sort of thing. I don't count the rivets on the wings or take down the call sign numbers or anything like that, but I just enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching them displayed, especially if it's a good pilot. If all they're doing is flying about, it's like, yeah, it's impressive, but I've seen that. But if you've got a proper pilot, and Russia has a lot of proper pilots, as I've seen for many years, yeah, when they're put through their paces and flown properly, it's absolutely mind-blowing. we go. Right, where are we? Do you use a VPN for unobstructed access to YouTube? So I've got no VPN on now. I'm on YouTube now. So no, it really does vary across Russia from what I can tell. Some people have no issues at all. Other people can't even get onto YouTube with or without VPN. Now that, from what I understand, isn't Russian government restricting it. It is rules stroke regulations in place that YouTube, as I understand, haven't complied with. That's my understanding. Whether that's correct or not, I don't know, but that's my understanding. And because they haven't complied, then yeah, they can't operate or something along those lines. So not entirely sure of the full story, but some people can use YouTube, some people can't. I, by the looks of it, can. So just deleted that crispy bacon. Yeah, great. Yeah, genius. Yeah, troll. We get them. We do get a troll. But anyhow, people, I want to go for a swim. Must be about time to bring out the beach ball and a lilo for a bit of time in the pool. Exactly. Thank you, Alexander. You've given me my Trump off-ramp. So thanks for joining me for my waffle this morning from the back garden once again. I think the next time I live stream, I will be somewhere wandering about. We go for a walkabout. Because you've all seen my fruit trees and my swimming pool enough times now. So, yeah, look out for the next live. It will be from somewhere. Might be from the wine festival, because that's on for a month. Who knows? Who knows? But anyhow, thanks for joining me. Please like, share and subscribe. Please share. It always helps. Check your subscription. If you have got notifications on, if you have subscribed, you need to check it, because YouTube will untick it. If you've got it set for all, so you get notified if I live stream or if I post a video, it will uncheck itself miraculously, all by itself, and it will change to custom, which means nothing. You won't get a notification. And I get it all the time. I get people saying, oh, I didn't see your live stream, I didn't get any notification for it. Why not? Well, that's the reason. You've got to check your notifications and keep them up to date, because they will get turned off. But yeah, thanks guys, thanks for joining me, and I'm going to go swimming. Hope you're having a good day. As I always say at this point, I'll see you in the next one.